So I'm going to tell you how to screw up your patient engagement. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you how best not to do so. First and really critical point is time is precious. Somebody with a long-term condition, an illness, a disability has got a lot of calls on their time. They've got to manage their symptoms, do their physio, have a restricted diet, take their pills, all these sorts of things in the context of having greater fatigue, more pain, a bad night's sleep, and all the rest of it. So their time and their energy is a very precious resource, and they've agreed to spend some of it on your project. That's great. Don't take the piss. Really organize what you're going to need them for. Use that time really stringently well. You're used to working 9 to 5. That's fine. These guys probably can't do that. Almost certainly can't do hours and hours and hours of meetings. 2 hours is probably your maximum. You're going to have to talk to your patients. When should that meeting start? Is it better in the morning for them, in the afternoon? What were their travel experiences? What are their carers' availability? All of this sort of practical stuff. Talk to your guys about that. Ask them what you can do to help mitigate that. That might well be practical things like arrange their travel for them. It might well be making sure you've got their documents to them well in advance. That's not just the day before. No, that's a week before, a fortnight before even the meeting. So they've had enough time to read through, digest, think about it, come up with questions, and give you really good advice. Your patients are coming to you with a huge range of expertise. They've got the lived experience of their condition in the context of their social situation. That's brilliant. That's exactly what you're needing to tap into. Don't disrespect it. They tell you that something's really important in their condition or that they are experiencing symptoms that are not in the medical books. Ask at the medical books. Don't disagree with the guys. They're most likely to be right, not the medical textbooks. The writers of the textbooks are likely to be the ones that have got it wrong. But as well as respecting their knowledge, you should respect your knowledge. You've spent years learning about the legislative frameworks, the research design for the protocols, the abbreviations, all of this sort of stuff. It's taken you years to learn. Don't suddenly expect your patients to know it in 5 minutes. You're going to have to provide them some training. You're going to have to sit them down and work through it with them so that they can place their expertise into your context. And then they're going to be able to give you really great advice. Pay for it. It's valuable, so pay for it. But it is absolutely unacceptable for you to expect your patients to be out of pocket with expenses. You must pay their expenses. And bear in mind, these could be quite substantial. It's not just their travel. Their carer may need travel. They may need to pay their carer. They may need to pay somebody to care for somebody at home that they've left behind. All sorts of bits and pieces. Ask them, really get to the bottom of what their expenses are, but also pay for their time, not just their time at the meeting, the time for the prep, the time that they took to travel. It is the time they have allocated, the energy they have allocated to your project that you are paying for. And whilst you might wince, your legal guys are going to be smiling because it means you're going to have a contract with them. Now, financially, that's great. Legally, it's even better because it means that confidentiality and all those sorts of things can be covered and written down and agreed. But also socially, it means that you have a call on their time. It's legitimate. You are reimbursing them for the time you are asking of them. And it means that you're not going to be suffering volunteerism and non-delivery of their resource. Bear in mind, no man is an island, so they're going to be part of a team themselves. You've got carers. By the way, if you can get the carers on board and advising your project, oh, hallelujah, they will have such insights, such useful information for you as well. Really talk to them. But also bear in mind that your guys are not uncommonly going to be the essential babysitters for the grandkids. They're going to be the key linchpin in a community event. They're going to be the volunteers. They're going to be an employee, for goodness sake. They could be still working. They also could be the carers for somebody else in their family who is ill or is disabled. Don't assume they're just the cared for. They're quite often got a number of roles themselves. And every once in a while, you're going to have to apologize for something you didn't do. Patients and lay advisors not uncommonly have some horror stories. It's sad but true. And what you have to do is acknowledge them, hear them, acknowledge them, say, I'm really sorry that happened to you. It really was unacceptable. And that allows the patient to feel heard, to feel respected, and to be able to put down a little of that anger and that pain and be able to refocus their energy on your project and getting stuff being done better, hopefully in the future. But sometimes you just got to apologize. And finally, being an English lady, I'm always going to recommend the restorative powers of a cup of tea. But seriously, you've got to have good hospitality. Make sure you are providing tea and cakes and lunches where possible, because you've got to be looking after the physical well-being of your lay advisors as much as everything else. Thank you very much for your time.